This is Jared Horak for today's RacingDigest.com, and we're going to do a Travers preview. Right now it's early. It's August 16th, so we're still 9 days out. The Travers is going to be on Saturday, August 25th. And right now there are 11 probables for the Travers Stakes, and let's meet those probables in alphabetical order and see if they're going to be legitimate contenders or pretenders. Axelrod is the first horse that we're going to talk about, and he was first in the Indiana Derby last time. Now, he does have speed. He seems to be improving a bit, but he's stepping up in class here. He's going to meet better horses at a longer distance, and he's going to have to step up his game if he expects to be competitive in the Travers. Bravazo is the next one we're going to talk about, and he was second in the Haskell last time out. Now, Bravazo's been an in-and-out sort all year. He's been involved in 6 graded stakes races with 1 win and 2 seconds. So he's one that he's capable of running a big race like he did in the Haskell, but then he's finished up the track at times too, like the Louisiana Derby, the Kentucky Derby, the Belmont Stakes. So he's one that's, when he's on his game, he can run with anybody, but you just don't know which Bravazo is going to show up. But if Bravazo, the one that was second in the Haskell, was second in the Preakness, shows up, he could be a threat. Catholic Boy is going to switch surfaces. He was first in the Belmont Derby, first in the Pennine Ridge in his last 2 turf starts, and he's 4 for 5 on turf. His 3 dirt races, he did win the Remsen Stakes, a grade 2 at Aqueduct at 1 1/8 as a 2-year-old. He was second in the Sam F. Davis Stakes at Tampa Bay earlier this year, and then 4th in the Florida Derby. I think he's better on turf. And also the horse that he's been running against on turf recently, Analyze It, was one that had the lead. Catholic Boy came back on him, and then Analyze It ran in the Secretariat Stakes at 1 1/4 on turf at Arlington last weekend. Same thing happened to him. He got the lead, he got run down. So I think that one has a little bit of a distance limitation, and Catholic Boy switching surfaces, and he's beaten a horse that's been limited on distance on turf. So not quite sure that he's going to be able to transfer that form, but he is running well right now. Good Magic's going to be the one to beat. He was first in the Haskell, your 2-year-old champion. He won the Breeders' Cup Juvenile last year. He was first in the Bluegrass Stakes, second in the Kentucky Derby. He dueled with Justify in the Preakness. So he's one that has a lot of class. Just a question of, is 10 furlongs a bit too far? In the Kentucky Derby, he was getting tired a bit late. Same one in the Preakness. So in his 2 longest races, he was losing ground in the stretch, but Justify won those races. So there's no Justify in here. He's got tactical speed. I think the key to him is he can get a middle to outer post and sit that outer tactical trip like he likes to sit. He could be tough. He seems to be training well. Gronkowski is also going to be from the Chad Brown barn, just like Good Magic. He was second in the Belmont Stakes, where he got a slow start, ran on nicely to finish second behind Justify that day. He may get over Benton here off of that effort. He's one that also has a gap in his workouts. If you look from June 23rd to July 21st, didn't have any workouts either. But he did come into the Belmont thinking that he was going to be short, but he ran a good race. He has some talent, but he can't afford to break slow like he did in the Belmont. He's just not going to win a race like the Travers if he gives this group a head start. Hofberg will be the next one in line, and he was first in the Curlin Stakes last time. That was his breakthrough performance. He looked good breaking his maiden earlier this year at Gulfstream Park, jumped right into Stakes Company in the Florida Derby, ran well on his 3rd lifetime start, didn't hit the board in the Kentucky Derby, and then he was 3rd in the Belmont prior to the Curlin Stakes. In the Curlin Stakes, he overcame a speed bias to rally to get the job done. He looked good, but he was outworked by Elate, his stablemate last time out, in his work last week for the Travers. I want to see a better work next time. He's one that can certainly get the distance. King Zachary is the next one. He was 4th in the Indiana Derby. His last 2 wins were at Churchill Downs, so I think he's one that seems to prefer that track, and he's going to have to run much better than he did last time. Mr. Freeze, just like King Zachary from the Dale Romans barn, he was first in the West Virginia Derby last time. Seems to be improving, but he seems a cut below the best. Tenfold, first in the Jim Dandy last time. He ran well in the Preakness as well. But that was an ugly stretch run in that Jim Dandy. He was very erratic. He was drifting out, and he was still able to get the job done. He's going to have to run better. He can't make a mistake like that and beat a horse like Good Magic. Vino Rosso also ran in that Jim Dandy, and he showed no early interest. Finally, late going, he finally got going in there. He won the Wood Memorial earlier this year, but he's one that he could just fall too far behind in this race that doesn't seem to have a lot of pace. Finally, the 3-year-old filly, Wonder Gadot, is going to run in this race. She was first in the Queen's Plate, first in the Prince of Wales, the first 2 races in the Canadian Triple Crown Series, and now she's going to jump over. Instead of running in the 3rd leg of that, she's going to jump and run in the Travers Stakes against the males. I think this could be a good move. She's 2 for 2 since they added blinkers. She was second in the Kentucky Oaks this year. She's one that looks very interesting in this race. So right now, I'd say my top contenders 9 days out for the Travers. Good Magic's going to be the one to beat. I think if he can get the distance and set a good tactical trip towards the outside, they're going to have a tough time beating him. Hofberg, if he can have an improved workout in his final Travers work, watch out for him. He can get this distance, no doubt about it. And he also, he likes Saratoga. He won last time easily. Wonder Gadot, the filly, she's never been better. She's 2 for 2 with blinkers. She could jump up and beat the boys. And then Bravazo, as I mentioned, he's the other one that I think is a solid contender if he runs his best race. If the good Bravazo shows up, he can run with anybody in this field. And if you're interested in that Travers complete digest, and it's going to be at today's Racing Digest, not available yet, but next week it's definitely going to be available. All the races from Saratoga, all the analysis, the today's Racing Digest speed figures, the fire numbers, the CPR numbers, all that you can get in that complete digest. And you can find that at today'sracingdigest.com next week, along with my full card analysis from Del Mar, plus the bonus stakes races from Saratoga. That will wrap up this video. Until next time, good luck at the races.